Hello. Today I want to talk about something I just realized today, um, and that is potential. I think what I've been doing recently is just making a lot of like different projects and stuff, and just dealing with like system designs. And a quote that stuck out with me, and something that I'm realizing with the stuff I'm making is there's no solution, just trade-offs. And it's very real, it's very true, because every choice you make, um, for me in these projects, it's like it's a design choice, and I'm giving up something for something else. You can't really have it all. And then I sort of started to think about that in the context of real life, and what really got me is this idea of potential. um, like I sort of assumed that I had to live up to this potential, and that there's an objectively right way to live life, and that if I didn't make this standard, or if I fell behind this perfect version of myself, I would be failing, or um, letting myself down, and like not fulfilling your potentials, like death. And that's what we're told, but um, it's it's completely bullshit. That's what I think now. I mean, there's no, we're never really going to be fully, there's never going to be like a destination. Like, we'll never just arrive at like a perfect state. So then it just becomes like, how are you going to live your life? And there's no right way to that. And obviously, that's like what people say, there's no right way. But I think that potential itself is kind of an annoying and oppressive concept, because now it holds you to the standard of you are only what you can become. And while that is important, having that future vision, the only thing we have is the present. And I'm not really one for like saying, oh, just live your life and, be happy. But it's more, don't, for me, I'm just letting go of this belief, doing it for the sake of like fulfilling this imaginary version of myself. Another thing I want to that relates to this is the concept of like monk mode, or like grind setting. The issue is things like no porn and everything, and it's very valid. Um, but I think it misses a lot of nuance. Um, we are human, and talking about this potential piece, it's like in my head there is this perfect version that doesn't indulge in any you know bad habits, doesn't eat junk food, goes to the gym every single day, alongside studying and grinding for like 8+ hours on your summer days. No break, just wake up, do the work, go to sleep, 100 cold calls, fall flat on your face, and just eat dirt and get through embarrassment. It's it's bullshit, and not just because of like laziness. Because in the thing is, you have to be targeted about it. We don't have the capacity to take on that many big energy draws at one time. Like, yeah, you could probably focus on one or two, and then slowly you get used to that, and it becomes your new baseline, and then you to tackle another problem. But like, I've just been kind of tactical now, and I've decided that's kind of how I want to be. it's not all or nothing. It's more, it's what I need to focus on right now and what I'm choosing to focus on. And other stuff, if I happen to fall back into some bad habits, you know, just mark it, but don't beat yourself up too much over it because that in itself is draining. Like just ruminating on how you should be better, you should be this potential version of yourself that doesn't have any desires or, it's perfect in every way. It's corrosive and, it draws away too much energy and it's just not worth it. It's not worth the energy with that because the more accurate of a picture you have over how you think and how you operate, the more you can actually have a chance of dealing with it and dealing with your problems because you're not going to deal with it by just thinking you're something you're not or following every hustle bros advice and just, you know, putting in that much work because it's only worth it if you decide it's worth the cost. And if it isn't, there's no shame in that. You don't owe anybody it. But just like weighing everything, and I think it's important to consciously weigh the trade offs that you make rather than just pretend there's nothing and then later you look at the cost and you're like, oh, if I had known, if I would have thought about this a bit more, I would have been maybe done something different. So yeah.